tucks in and runs. Zach Wilson's loose. Zach Wilson's running. He's got all day. He stays in bounds. Zach Wilson cuts it. Zach Wilson gets in the end zone for the touchdown. Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? We're back live here on Jets Media to break down what the hell happened today. With Ryan from Jets Talk, we're blasting the rock. Start it off, Ryan. We're blasting it, baby. Welcome into the stream, everybody. We're gonna lower the tubes a little bit. Let's get serious for a sec. Ryan, welcome to the stream, my man. Today was one hectic day to be a Jets fan, a very unique day to say the least, because I did not expect any of this to happen. But Ryan, welcome to the show. How you feeling today? How you doing, my man?
Dude, good to be back on. I love coming on with you. Yeah, dude, this was a crazy whirlwind of a day. We did not see this coming at all, and then it was just a super rush of emotion, and then this crashing down of emotion, and fans are all sorts of all over the place on this.
This was such a crazy day to be a Jets fan. I feel like the fan base really got we all came closer together because we felt pain as a fan base before for years and years and years, but this is a different type of pain just because, like you said at best, Ryan, nobody even expected Tyreek Hill was on the trade block. And all of a sudden we get a report saying that the Jets and the Dolphins are finalists to land Tyreek Hill, and we're all scrambling. What? What does that even mean? We're the finalists to get one of the best receivers in football. And then I go scramble, I make a live stream, and I'm depressed on the live stream an hour later. So we're going to be breaking down what happened with that whole situation. Tyreek Hill's now a Miami Dolphin. The trade package that the Jets actually offered and was accepted by the Chiefs, but Tyreek Hill decided to go to the Dolphins. What does this mean for the New York Jets moving forward with that wide receiver position? Because I think that move told me that the Jets are very interested in getting a big-time receiver. Now, we'll see what's going to happen with that, whether that's going to be through the draft or maybe there's another guy available. We're going to get into all that in the stream and, of course, break down all the free agency that happened, talk about the draft. There's a lot of stuff coming tonight on Jets Media, so if you're just tuning in, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to Ryan from Jets Talk. That is down below in the description, but I'm assuming you're already subscribed to my guy, Ryan, because if you're not, I don't know what you're doing. So before we get into the first topic, let's get to the first super chat of the night from Shivanshu. Appreciate the $5 donation, my man. Just a reminder of how important an offense is to grow and develop to consistently win. Cornerback, safety, D-tackle won't get it done. More proof of how important wide receiver are. So what's your thoughts about the first super chat of the night, Ryan? Obviously, there's a lot of different takes surrounding this Tyreek Hill situation. We're going to hear your take about it in just a second, but what's your thought about this super chat?
Yeah, look, Lima Bean's right. He says that the wide receiver position is so important. And if there's anything we've learned over the course of the last few years, DeAndre Hopkins getting $27.5 million, Devontae Adams getting $28 million, Tyreek Hill getting $30 million. Clearly teams feel the same way. And I think receiver now, it's interesting. How do you attack it in the draft? Because this is a premium position. It's something you are going to want the benefit of a 5-year rookie contract on. Compared to where it may have been just a few years ago. So it's interesting to see if the Jets are going to be in on more trade talks coming up because they didn't offer number 10. So does that mean they're still looking at receiver number 10? To me, I don't think that is what is going to happen.
Exactly. We got another $5 super chat from Shivansu. Appreciate it, my man. So let's not mess around drafting wide receiver like 2014 and 20, where we get leftovers. Green Bay, Chiefs, Bills, Patriots, Titans want wide receiver, and many top prospects will be gone by 35. So it seems like Shivansu's all on board to getting a wide receiver with that 10th overall pick. And I feel like that's the obvious situation right now. It's obvious that Joe Douglas and the Jets organization values the wide receiver position. They like Elijah Moore. They like Corey Davis. They obviously value Braxton Berrios by re-signing him. But they feel like they are one big-time wide receiver piece away from really solidifying this offense. We find out that they were in on Calvin Ridley before that whole situation happened. We find out that the Jets called Seattle and asked about DK Metcalf until we find out that he's not available. Obviously, they were in on the Amari Cooper sweepstakes, but that did not happen. So it's obvious that the New York Jets want to get a receiver. Now the big question is, How is that going to happen? So Shavansu, I think we all agree with you. I feel like we need to make sure we get a wide receiver in this draft class early at number 10. And we got another $5 donation from Shavansu. 3 in a row. This man's awesome. Appreciate you, my man. Do you want to reach at 35 for wide receiver, then or wait longer for the next Chad Hansen and Stewart? Sauce isn't going to stop offenses now with the rules. So, Ryan, what's your take here? I think he's, getting into the debate. If the Jets do not take a receiver at number 10, do you make the risk by getting the leftovers who's at 35? Well, that's going to be Dotson, maybe Christian Watson's, even if he's available. So what's your thoughts about the wide receiver position going into the draft, whether taking one at 10 or waiting until 35?
So I've got a bunch of receivers that I really like, and there's the thought that maybe they won't be there, but I could go any one of Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, Drake London, Jamison Williams, Christian Watson, George Pickens, John Dotson. Like, there's a lot of guys that I really like at 35. But what's going to happen is the Steelers are coming up to number 4 to get Willis. We're going to get a haul of picks, and we're going to be able to trade back into the first round and get a wide receiver that we want. So I'm not overly concerned right now. I do want Sauce, though. I'm a big Sauce fan.
Now it's all
crisscross applesauce.
All right. I think Jets fans turned right after we missed out on Tyreek Hill. We're like, okay, we need Sauce Gardner because now we have to guard Stephon Diggs. Now we have to guard Tyreek Hill twice a year. What are we doing? We need guys to match up against them. So let's get right into this whole situation because, like we said at the top of the show, this came out of nowhere. Nobody even thought Tyreek Hill was on the open market, on the trade market until this morning. So the Jets obviously were in on it, right? We almost land Tyreek Hill. So to break it all down real quick, the Kansas City Chiefs, they wanted to move on from Tyreek Hill. They're paying Patrick Mahomes a ridiculous amount of money. They don't feel like they want to pay him the money that he's looking to getting a contract that's richer than Devontae Adams. So they were making some trade talks, and the Dolphins and the Jets become the 2 finalists. The New York Jets make an offer that the Chiefs accept. The Dolphins make an offer that the Chiefs accept, and the Tyreek Hill gets to choose where he wants to go. And Tyreek Hill decides to go to Miami. Now, for those guys that do not know, the trade package that the New York Jets offered, no first-round picks. It was pick 35, 38, and 69 for Tyreek Hill and pick 109. That's crazy because I expected us to at least give up a first-round pick. So, Ryan, where are you at with the situation? Are you okay with the not getting Tyreek Hill? Do you think it was the best-case scenario that he chose the Dolphins? Or are you upset that you wanted Tyreek Hill? Where are you at right now? Did you feel like Tyreek Hill was worth not only paying that much draft capital for, but paying him generational type money?
So I'm kind of on the same wavelength as I was with the whole Deshaun Watson thing. Great player, phenomenal talent. I don't particularly want a guy that choked out his girlfriend and punched his pregnant wife in the stomach. Sorry, it's just not something. I think we should have a higher standard for our players personally. And look, I have a threshold. There's, I would say DUI might be like the tipping point where it's like not Henry Ruggs, but Jeff Ulbrich, I guess, is sort of my moral compass. But even still, there's a lot of reasons I think this just made no sense for the New York Jets. I mean, we have the money, but they just gave him $120 million fully guaranteed. Now it's really $72 million guaranteed for this year, but the other $50 million becomes fully guaranteed the first day of the league year in 2023. And there's no way you're paying him $72 million and then not having him on the team for the next year. So in a sense, they're paying him 4 years, $120 million fully guaranteed. Didn't want the Jets to do that. Giving up 35 and 38, that's 2 players on 4-year contracts that are going to be first-round talents. They're going to fall out of the first round because quarterbacks that do not deserve to go in the first round are going to push better players down the draft board. So the Jets would have given up essentially 2 first-round caliber players, not to mention 69. So across the board, I don't really like it. I do think that this gives me a little bit of, I don't know, maybe I'm somewhere in the middle where it's like, I'm a little irritated that the Jets were kind of in on it, but I am happy they drove up the price for the Dolphins 100%. And I do think Tyreek Hill used that, but I don't think Hill was ever really going to come here. I think he used the Jets and the Chiefs used the Jets as a way to bump up the Dolphins asking price because Tyreek Hill lives in Miami. His agent is from Miami. They have a good relationship with the Dolphins. Just everything played out. There's no state income tax. It just didn't make any sense for the New York Jets.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Ryan. You're definitely calming down a lot of Jets fans that are freaking out about missing out on Tyreek Hill. I was one that definitely was freaking out. I got my emotions.
We were having the conversation. You and I were texting back and forth.
I was
oh
texting
man,
Ryan,
what's
I'm
going
like,
on?
Ryan, we didn't get him. And he's like, Ricky, it's okay. Relax. It's okay. And I'm like, Ryan, I don't know, man. This is the worst thing that could ever happen. And you're like, calming me down. That's why it's a great timing for you to be on the show tonight. So you can not only relax me, but relax all the Jets fans that are just like me. Because I put a post up in the poll, and I said, how do you feel about the Jets missing out on Tyreek Hill? 69% says, I am sad. 31% says, did not want to trade and pay him. So this is interesting because Jets fans are obviously wanting superstar talent. That's a player that would definitely come to the roster and immediately give Zach Wilson, a top 3 weapon. But then you flip it around and talk about what Ryan was just breaking down. Yes, he has a lot of off-the-field stuff that needs to be talked about. And the New York Jets are trying to build a culture here with right character guys. And to be honest, Tyreek Hill does not really fit that. So when you talk about the talent on the field, it's there. But when it comes to the culture and all that stuff, it's interesting because to hear that Joe Douglas was willing to pay him the most money at the wide receiver position and to give up that capital, that kind of really opens things up about Joe Douglas. And I want to ask you a question about that right after we get to some of these super chats. So Antonio says, let's get Revis out of retirement if Jets miss Sauce. I'm down. I mean, we got Jordan Whitehead, his cousin, in the building. So what do you think about this? Should we bring Darrelle Revis back out of retirement and let him join his cousin? Or should we get Sauce regardless?
Give me crisscross Big Apple sauce. I want sauce in New York, baby. Come on. Make it happen.
Baby. Ryan's all about the sauce. At 4? You're not waiting until 10. You're taking it at 4?
I put it this way. I like a lot more edge rushers that I think will be available at 10 than I like corners. But I do think edge is the important need that we should take at 4. If you covet a guy at 4 at the edge rush position, take him at 4. And I think Sauce could really fall to 10. I don't think there's a team. If he makes it to the Jets at 4, I think he's going to make it to the Jets at 10.
Very interesting. We're going to get into that more later on in the show. Shavansu with another $5 donation. I appreciate you, my man. JC couldn't stop the Bills. Jalen got burnt in the playoffs. If there's anything that the playoffs should show us is how we overrated defense. No sauce. So Shavansu's no sauce. He doesn't want him. He wants offense. He wants to stay with these high-powered AFC teams, with these crazy quarterbacks like Russell Wilson joining the club and all these other quarterbacks developing like Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. So he's on the train of the offense while other Jets fans are like, no. We need to get defense to be able to contain him. So it'll be really interesting to see where the Jets go when it comes to the NFL draft. If I had to guess, I think they're going to go a wide receiver early and defense. Like in the first 4 picks, I think one of them will be wide receiver. The other 3 will be defense. Because if you look around the offense, there's really not that many holes other than depth that we need at offensive line.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think receiver should be in the second round. I could see them taking him at 10, but I agree. I think it'll be 3 defense, one offensive weapon.
Yeah, man, I agree as well. So Gerald with a nice donation. Appreciate you, my man. JD has shown he will go big for the right guy. Are there other left field contract year wide receivers that he might try for? The only one that comes to mind, Ryan, is Brandon Cooks. Is a player that is very underrated. Obviously, DK Metcalf is the big name, right?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
DK Metcalf. See, the thing with DK Metcalf with me is I want him so bad, but the Seahawks don't want to trade him. So that's the problem. We found out.
So I heard I should go back and try to find this, but I saw something that they are listening to calls for both wide receivers.
Oh, you did? Well,
I did see that. Let me see if I can find it. You keep going. I'll see if I can track it down.
Basically, I'm basing this off Rich Tamini, so who knows how credible he is.
This was relatively recently. I was surprised to have seen it actually.
Yeah, please pull that up because apparently from Rich Tamini from ESPN, he said the Jets called about DK and they weren't interested in trading.
When was that? I remember that was today. Okay, so as of 6:11 p.m. today, Jack Settleman, don't know who it is. He's got the check mark.
Got the check.
The sources tell me Packers and Chiefs have inquired about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett's availability. Seattle is open to listening to offers for their star wide receivers, but nothing imminent.
Okay, and you go all in. And you
I would give up 10 for DK. No questions asked.
100%, man. You see all these wide receivers being traded everywhere. They're a premier position right now. It's awesome to hear, and we're going to get into it later on, that Joe Douglas is aggressive right now, and he knows that we need to get a big-time receiver. So Travis with a $2 donation, he agrees with you. How about that? Who would have thought that anybody would agree with Ryan?
Good man.
I'm just messing around. Kyle, the $2 donation. Jamison Crowder equals Benedict Arnold, the new Buffalo Bill. All right, Kyle.
They got a good guy. They're going to like him up there. They really will.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I was rooting for Jamison Crowder to go to a contender that, like in the NFC or something, and have a good, good season. But nope, I have to go to a division rival. Good luck. I feel like he's going to do good things in Buffalo. It's going to hurt us big time. Pooch Guy with a $10 donation. Appreciate you, Poochie. Seems like other teams are running while we crawl. JD has to go full court press on DK, Claypool, or Jefferson off the Vikings somehow. After all he's done, we're still 4th, 3rd at best in our own division. So yeah, it really does suck because we're seeing Joe Douglas be aggressive. He calls about Calvin Ridley. He gets suspended for the year. He calls in about Amari Cooper. That doesn't go our way for whatever reason. He calls about Tyreek Hill. He sends a gigantic package. He's willing to pay him. He chooses the Dolphins. He's calling the Seahawks. As of right now, we don't know what's going on with DK. So JD is being aggressive, but it's not going our way. So Ryan, what do you think the Jets need to do? Do we call Pittsburgh about Claypool? Do we call the Vikings and offer our entire draft class for Justin Jefferson? Like, what do we do?
I think we definitely should poke around DK for sure. I don't think that Seattle would trade for their original pick back for DK. I think that's a bad look. Almost the same way I didn't think Watson was going to get traded to Miami last year for their Tunsil pick back. But I think that the Jets are going to be in on Claypool. And I think there's a lot to the fact that Malik Willis, Tomlin was at his pro day, Rule was at his pro day. There's a lot of smoke around this that the Steelers are trying to come up to 4 if he falls past number 2. So I think Claypool could be involved in that type of trade where the Jets get pick 20. It might be maybe they get a 1, 2, 3 and Claypool. I would do that before, some of these other options.
Interesting, man. It's really interesting to see because you know what this told me? That we have no idea who's available on the trade market because there was not 1 ounce of rumors about speculation that Tyreek Hill is going to be leaving Kansas City. So anybody can all of a sudden wake up and we can hear that this player's available or that player's available. That's what today taught me because nobody saw that coming. So Pooch Guy, I appreciate the $10 donation. You sent another $10 donation saying the same exact thing. I appreciate you, my man. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, Ryan and I agree with you. Definitely need to go all in on a receiver. Shavantu with another $2 donation. Edge over cornerback. Quarterback can't throw if he's on the floor. Yeah, and that is the New York Jets mindset. Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, they're trying to build his defense from the front back. They prioritize the line of scrimmage. Do you agree that an edge should be a priority over cornerback, Ryan, based on what the Jets are looking like on defense?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's got to be the edge rusher. If you don't get one, I want to take one at 4 so it unlocks the rest of your draft because I think you have to get one this year. And if you wait on taking one at 4 and you have to wait till 10, maybe you don't like the guy, and then you get in this whole sticky situation. I think the Jets are taking one at 4.
Very interesting stuff. So, guys, we got 300 people tuning in with 77 likes. Make sure you guys run up that like button. Let's get to 100 likes. We're live here with Jets Talk 24/7. You all know him. He's Ryan doing some great things. Make sure you subscribe to his channel down below, of course, and hit that like button if you guys are enjoying and you want to see Ryan back on the channel. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Greatly appreciate it so we get as many Jets fans and NFL fans in here in the chat to talk some Jets and NFL stuff. So, Ryan, I want to hear your thoughts about this real quick. What does this tell you about Joe Douglas and the New York Jets? Because this is something that we have never seen from Joe Douglas yet, trading for a player that's a veteran that's going to be a big-time impact, right? We've seen Joe Douglas make a lot of trades, great trades, might I add, that are trading away our players for draft picks. We traded away Jamal Adams, Sam Darnold, the list goes on and on and on. Joe Douglas has not yet traded for a big-time player while giving up draft capital. We find out that Joe Douglas proposed a trade and was willing to give up 35, 38, 69 while giving Tyreek Hill a gigantic contract. Now, obviously, that fell through and that did not happen. But what does this tell you about Joe Douglas as general manager and what we can expect, not even for this season, even seasons and beyond, that he's willing to go out and be aggressive for a player like Tyreek Hill?
Well, I think it shows us exactly what he's done. He's been aggressive. It's just been aggressive in different ways and in different capacities. He was aggressive with trading Jamal Adams. He was aggressive with trading Sam Darnold. He was aggressive with coming up to get AVT. Like, I think all these things show in Joe Douglas's, sort of mindset. We just haven't seen him give away the picks and give up the monster contract yet. But I think when you're trying to build a team, this is the start of what you're going to see. And I think you'll definitely see it next year, especially if Wilson winds up taking that next step. The thing for me is when they say they're trying to build a culture and then you're trying to like bring in someone like Tyreek Hill, it feels like you're almost sending a mixed message. So I guess it kind of tells me, just like a lot of other teams, they don't care about the personality if the talent's there.
Yeah, it really is weird because we all thought of Joe Douglas as a guy that really prioritizes character, and he was about to trade a lot of capital and give him a lot of money for a player that has a lot of off the field issues. So crazy day. It's obviously feels a little worse because he had to go to a division rival in Miami. Like, say we lost his bidding war to a team like, I don't know, the Vikings or just a random team in the NFC, it would not feel as bad. But since it was the Jets versus the Dolphins, it made that competition a little worse. But hey, maybe this sets the Miami Dolphins back a couple years because who knows what's going to happen with that contract and all that other stuff. So moving on from the Tyreek Hill situation, let's put that in the past, on the back burner. We don't got him. We don't got to worry about him until this season, right? So let's talk about free agency because the New York Jets are coming off a week by signing like 5 or 6 new players, re-signing a bunch of players. So how can you recap free agency for us in a nutshell? How did you like Joe Douglas's approach and some players that you really feel like are going to make a big-time impact next year?
So I love Laken Tomlinson. I thought that was a home run signing. I think it allows you to not go offensive line with your first 2 picks at all. Like, it just, eliminates it probably from the top 4 selections because you now have a strength on your team. In terms of the tight end position, love that they got 2 guys because now you don't have to, run the risk of taking a tight end at the back end of the first by trading up or in the second round with McBride. And that's not to say I don't like McBride, but the value for tight end is 100% in like the 4th and 5th rounds. There's a ton of good tight ends. So Joe Douglas is setting us up to go best player available, even with DJ Reed. Love DJ Reed, love Whitehead. And I think all these signings allow you to go best player available, but they don't prohibit you from going after someone like Sauce or someone like, maybe it's Jeremy Ruckert, a little bit later, or, I don't think there's any issue with going safety in the second round at say pick 35 or 38. I think it just builds depth and it allows your young guys to kind of slowly come along.
Yeah, I feel like it was a really good approach from Joe Douglas in free agency, if I had to say, because he was aggressive. He didn't put all of his money into 1 or 2 players. He spread it around. And he also opened up the bank. I mean, Laken Tomlinson signing a 3-year, $40 million contract. That's not cheap. That's giving a guy that's 30 years old, around $13 million per year. He's a Pro Bowler. And Joe Douglas feels like he's a missing piece to really add to this offensive line. So I want to hear your thoughts, Ryan, about the offensive line and your expectations from this year. Obviously, we have Mekhi Becton hopefully coming back and being healthy. And George Fant competing for that left tackle spot. We got Elijah Vera-Tucker at left guard going into year number 2. We're hopeful that he can make that next step. Connor McGovern, I think we can just hope that he would have the same type of season, maybe just a little better. I think he's now the weak link of the offensive line. Laken Tomlinson at that right guard, if he could play that Pro Bowl self, then it'll be good. And then we'll see who wins that right tackle spot. So if everyone's healthy, what's your expectations for this Jets offensive line?
I think it's got to be top 15. And if Becton comes back to form and he builds on where he was at the end of his rookie year, then it's, a top 10 line. I think the biggest issue with me for the offensive line is Connor McGovern. I think it's the fight. It's the standing up for your quarterback. I think there's some type of weird thing that happened when Zach got hit low in the Patriot game twice and then wound up having to come out. And no offensive lineman went out and helped him. And I think Joe Douglas took note of that because we clearly were in on Jensen. We were in on Bozeman. We were in on interviewing Linderbaum. We tested Zion Johnson out at center. So I think it's clear they're looking to move on from McGovern. And I think they're probably going to take a center at some point in this draft. But I think McGovern's probably here for this year at this point, unless the center really shows out in training camp.
Yeah, I think that if everything goes well and the offensive line is healthy, I think we have really good potential in the run game. I feel like this offensive line is built to dominate people in the run game, especially with Mekhi Becton playing at his highest potential. And we see him on Twitter right now going crazy at Jets fans. A lot of Jets fans are just, talking crap to him. I don't understand.
Did you see the name change?
The Big Bust 77. If Mekhi Becton, if he has to do that on Twitter to prove everybody wrong and he comes back with vengeance and he becomes that tackle we all hope that he could become, by all means, go crazy on Twitter. I got no problem with that, man. I got no problem with that. So the offense right now after free agency. The one position we did not touch is wide receiver outside of re-signing Braxton Berrios. So where are you at with this receiver room? Do you feel like the Jets should go out there and sign one of those veteran free agents that are still available for depth? Because me personally, there's not a lot of depth on this wide receiver room. You got Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, and then Denzel Mims, and then Tariq Black, Jeff Smith. James Crowder just walked. Keelan Cole's still available. So would you like to see the Jets make a move at receiver before the draft? Because I think it's obvious that we want to take a receiver early in the draft, but should they add depth right now through free agency?
I'm actually all right with not adding depth. And this is kind of a weird sort of situation for me, but I think it links back to the Senior Bowl. I think we had so much of an opportunity to really see these players and have a whole week of practice with them that they've built a rapport with our coaching staff. And I think there's a really good shot that the Jets are going to target a lot of these guys throughout the course of this draft. I think the Jets wind up drafting 4 Senior Bowl guys. And I think the undrafted free agent part is really where you're going to get a lot of the depth, and you're going to get guys that can at least operate within your offense because you saw them for a whole week. So I'm not overly concerned. I'd rather get our big wide receiver either through a trade like a DK or like a Cooks, like you said, or, number 10 or 35.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one player that I would be happy with and I would not be shocked of the New York Jets drafting later on is Bo Melton. I feel like that's a player that we coached at Senior Bowl. It's got a lot of speed, can be a special teams guy with Braxton Berrios. And do you expect, to follow up your answer, the Jets to double dip at the wide receiver position in the draft?
I don't know. It's tough. It depends how many picks they end up having, because if they decide to trade back into the first round for a wide receiver, you wind up losing probably the 3rd round pick, maybe the 4th round pick, depending on how high you're going up. And then we have we have 2 4ths, 2 5ths right now. So I think we will wind up with more picks, and I think there's probably a good chance we double dip, but looking at like the whole offense as a whole, we want to go through the tight ends. We want to, use Michael Carter. We are only going to have like 2 or 3 receivers out there at a time. So you've got Elijah Moore, you got Corey Davis, you got Braxton Berrios, you got whoever we draft high. So I don't know if they have to double dip, but I do think they bring in 2, throughout this draft process, even with, everything going on.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Joe Douglas does, because I would not be shocked if he's on the phones as we speak trying to get a veteran receiver in the building through the trade market, because we do not know who's available. Like I said a couple minutes ago, what today taught us as NFL fans is you never know who's available until Adam Schefter just breaks the news and you're like scrambling for your absolute life. Mind blown. So, Ryan, if you can... Oh, we got another super chat from the legend, Shivansu. I appreciate you, my man. Waiting too long, Gotis Mims. The sauce has gone bad. Hey, have you given up on our guy Denzel Mims? What's your thoughts about Denzel?
I think that it's worth, because of the draft capital we spent on him, I think it's worth going into training camp, going all the way through training camp to final cut, seeing what he's got, giving him a fair shake throughout preseason and camp. And then if he can't beat out some of the other guys on this roster, then I think you either have to look to trade him or, he might wind up being a cut. It really felt like this coaching staff was like done with him. The body language was not good at the end of the year.
Yeah, man. And the thing about Denzel Mims with me, like, I defended him through everything. I was like, all the Denzel Mims haters, I'm like, you don't have no idea. This guy's this. Yep. But when he got his opportunity, 5 straight games starting and had 1 catch. It's like, how can I keep defending the man? I'm not a delusional Jets fan. I'm not going to just defend a man through emotion. I got to see some, And if you guys remember at the beginning of the season, everyone's like, free Mims, free him. The coaching staff are idiots. Give this man an opportunity. He gets his opportunity, and he doesn't do anything with it. So let's hope that everything goes smoothly heading into training camp, where there's no salmon that he eats that makes him have food poisoning. He gets the OTAs. There's no hamstring tweaks, and he can have a fluid offseason, because I really feel like that's always an excuse with him where, he didn't have a good OTAs because he was sick, and then he had hamstring problems in training camp, and this. So let's hope that is a smooth transition to OTAs at the training camp, and let's hope that he can prove to be a piece, because that would be positive, guys. I mean, I'm not giving up on Denzel, but I'm not expecting anything from him. I would like him to prove us that he actually has potential to be a depth piece on this roster. It's sub-in for people that go down, or even sub-in rotation. So let's hope that he can at least do just that. We got another $10 donation from my man Brandon. Appreciate you, Brandon. JD is doing what we've been waiting for a long time, building a competitive roster that will attract premier players. The culture is truly changing. #take flight. Say that again, my man Brandon. Every single Jets fan should read this super chat from Brandon and really digest it. Ryan, what's your thoughts from Brandon's take here?
Yeah, I think it's still, maybe a season out, because if Tyreek Hill really had the opportunity to choose either one, obviously I think he took the money because it's, he's going to get whacked with taxes a little bit more in the New York, New Jersey area. But yeah, I think we are going to start being a premier location for talent, because if you can win in New York, I mean, when the Jets were winning in 2009 and 2010 and they were in the playoffs, they were going to those championship games, I've never felt the city feel this way. Like you got Jet fans coming out of the woodworks. Like, we are a loyal bunch, but it is fun. Like, it's not the same when the Giants wind up winning the Super Bowl in like 2008 and 12. Like, there's almost like this expectation to be good where Jet fans, like, we didn't have that. And like, we are just chomping at the bit for it to happen. So it's going to happen. Wilson's got to win a few games, show us a little bit of talent. And then we're going to get guys coming here next year.
And that's the best thing about this fan base is we've sucked for so long. We haven't been to the playoffs since 2010, 2011. We almost made the playoffs in 2015, and we still have this amazing, passionate fan base that is so hungry and loyal to the point where when we do turn the corner, it's going to be phenomenal. We have great content creators across YouTube. We got a great Jets Twitter community. I mean, there's no one that compares to Jets Twitter. Like, I don't care. We're crazy out there. We're passionate. We're toxic, which is a good thing because that means that you're passionate. We got amazing takes. I mean, Jets fans, the Jets community is awesome, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it because it really is a special community that we're not bandwagons. It's really hard to stay loyal to a team that sucked for so long, and when it does turn around, it's going to feel so damn good. So, Brandon, I appreciate the donation, and I do agree that Joe Douglas is doing what we've been waiting for a long time. He has a long-term approach instead of having that short-term thinking, trying to quick fix. They're trying to build a sustainable winner. It's not going to be easy. It's not guaranteed it's going to happen. But at least as a Jets fan base, we can agree that Joe Douglas is doing the right thing by putting the New York Jets in a position to be aggressive at times and set this team up for long-term success. Let's hope that it happens because I really feel like they have all the ammunition in order for that to actually come to fruition. Green Empire Lawn Care with a $2 dono. Can our guys not get hurt before the season starts? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Me and my boy Jack were talking about this. We're like, let's get 5 or 6 games in before the injuries start kicking in, right? Let's see Carl Lawson.
Yeah, dude, it kills me. We didn't get to see any of our guys. Like, we barely got to see Becton. We barely got to see Lawson. We barely got to see Joyner. If you think about it, Robert Saleh is adding 3 new players to this team that he never got to use. He didn't get to use Becton. Didn't get to use Joyner. Didn't get to use Lawson.
And I'm happy you said that because I tweeted this out a week or two ago. We're basically adding Mekhi Becton, Carl Lawson, Lamarcus Joyner in this offseason. Those are acquisitions because they did not touch the field last year outside of the first quarter of Lamarcus Joyner and the first half of Mekhi Becton, right? So those are some pretty big acquisitions. And last year, we all looked at Mekhi Becton and Carl Lawson as the core of the trenches. Mekhi was the core of the offensive line at the time. Carl Lawson was supposed to be the core of that defensive line, and they both go down before the season even begins. So those two guys, if they're healthy, that's going to be a completely different animal. And you said it best, Ryan. The coaching staff really was expecting those 2 players to have a big-time impact on this team. And I'm excited to see them hopefully be healthy. Everyone listen to my guy, Jose. Hit the like button, fellas. We got 140 likes with 400 people tuning in. If you're enjoying the show and you want to see Ryan back on the channel and you like the content, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. And, of course, don't forget to go down below and subscribe to Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7. We're about halfway through the show, so hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's get going. V-Man with the $2 donation, my man, says, why would anybody want to play for the Sea Perverts?
The Dolphins.
What are your thoughts about V-Man's super chat, Ryan?
Oh, dude, I squish the fish, my friend. They want to play there because Miami's got the nightlife. They've got the warm weather. They got no state income tax. That's the whole reason.
Yeah, and he's located there, and they got weather. Like, all right, Miami, we get it, okay? Damn it. I didn't even know this, but TD Finns Talk, he clipped my little live react. I was live during the whole Tyreek Hill situation. He clipped my reaction of me being depressed, and he tweeted it out saying, epic Jets fan reaction, and I didn't even see it. Like, he didn't tag me, so I didn't see it all day, and I look at my Twitter, like, randomly, I see myself, like, with all Miami Dolphins fans roasting me, like, oh, Richie, poor Richie, oh. And me, like,
jeez.
I'm like, oh, my God, now I'm being clowned by Miami fans. Like, this is terrible, but it's okay.
Oh, it's awful. Awful.
It's okay. Shivanshu with another $2 donation. Edge and wide receiver. Let's not overthink this and draft tackle, corner, and safety. So do you think it's edge and wide receiver guaranteed in the first round? I don't think so, because you want Sauce. So what do you think?
I do want Sauce. I hope so. I hope we go edge at 4. I hope Sauce is there at 10 so we could take him. I like a lot of the receivers, and I would be fine with trading back into the first to get one of those receivers as well. Personally, I think Watson and Pickens are probably my 2 favorite second-round guys. Pickens could have been the top receiver in this class, tore his ACL in spring, killed it in the combine. This guy is just, I mean, he's got a few on-the-field things that are a little, like, aggressive. Like, have you ever seen the play of him just throwing the defensive back and then, like, shushing the sideline? Like, this guy is not afraid to hit people. Like, that's the type of mentality I want. I want to go after some of these Georgia players. I love their running back, Dalvin Cook's little brother. Like, big fan of that.
Bring in James Cook. I love it. There's a lot of Georgia guys that people want, and they have a lot of players that I feel like would be an amazing fit on this roster. So we'll see if we get any of those Bulldogs. Shivanshu with another one saying everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one want to die. What an absolute quote from the GOAT, Ron Middleton. If it moves, hit it. Everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one want to die. I mean, make that guy like a big time role, like upgrade him. Can he be like more than just a tight ends coach? Like,
dude, it's going to be fantastic. He's got to be the Jets project. Like, we want to groom him up to be the guy that teams want to pull away from us. Like, he's got a ton of energy. I'd love to see him get some like higher opportunities for sure.
That would be sick. That would be absolutely awesome. Like, seeing him at the Senior Bowl, he's 1-0. He's undefeated as a head coach in the NFL. I mean, he's the only undefeated NFL coach in history. Am I right? Is that factual? Someone fact check me. Who else is 1-0?
We could call him 2-0. He won the Senior Bowl, right?
Oh yeah, he's 2-0, baby. He's 2-0. V-Man with another $5 dono. On a scale of 1 to 10, how dope would be a Jets fan cave that is made to look like the inside of an aircraft hangar? V-Man is always with his creative takes. Is that what we should do, Ryan? Should we try to make a bat cave, but for Jets fans, and make it out of an aircraft? What do you think about this?
So I had a thought for a while when I was first starting my live streams, and I don't love the idea of a green screen, but I thought about doing like me inside of an actual cockpit, like with the green screen. I was like, maybe I'll do that at some point, but I kind of I didn't go with it. But I love it, dude.
I mean, you are a pilot.
Oh yeah, I'll be your pilot.
Where's the hat at?
Oh, I got it right here.
Oh, there. I was about to say you
got a rocket I'll rock it for the rest of the stream.
There we go. Ryan's the pilot for the rest of the stream. You love to see it because I can't imagine that. V-Man, you're giving me some ideas. Maybe I should create this and invite like I've always want to organize like a Jets fan party of some sort. It would have to be for an event.
Sure.
I mean, it would have to be for like a game, I guess. I don't know. It can never just be something that's not,
dude,
something.
Whatever our home opener is, I think we get all the Jet content creators to just hype up some type of like tailgate or something like that. And we all just get together and have a grand old time. And hopefully we win this home opener.
Oh, I know. 100%. Like, we need to organize something where we're all together, the fans are all together, and we can all just go absolutely crazy as Jets fans and just go berserk. Because today was an example of Jets fans coming together as a community virtually, of freaking out, of feeling like I don't want him or I do want him. It was panic and time, and no one knew what was happening. Today was a great day, just like a very unique experience for myself and every single Jets fan of being a fan. It was very different. Jose says Watson is going to be our Tyreek Hill, but taller. So I guess we're drafting Watson. What are your thoughts about this?
I would love it. I think the guy's absolutely awesome. I think the only reason I sort of lean Pickens is because he's got the SEC pedigree as opposed to, North Dakota State, but I'd be just as happy with Watson.
And hey, man, we kind of have our Tyreek Hill on the team already.
I saw a tweet that was like, oh, the Jets might wind up, looking to move more in this trade. And I was like, I'm going to flip my desk. I was like, no way. I was like, I'd lose it. If we traded for Hill and got rid of Moore, I would
not have done that. If Elijah Moore was
so upset.
involved, I would have been so pissed off. But the visualizing them together is a different story, but it's okay because it's not happening, and who cares? We don't want him, Ryan. Anyway, good thing we didn't get him. But at the end of the day, Elijah Moore could develop into our own version of Tyreek Hill, and we make him the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. How about that? Huh? How about that? Jay with the $5 dono. Appreciate you, my man. Hope everything's well by you. I live in Seattle. The content providers are some with sources are saying the Seahawks are considering trading their wide receivers. So Ryan did say this earlier on, and I am pleased to hear this because I'm listening to Rich Cimini, right? Why am I like sourcing him and saying that he's someone that has any sources? So according to Jay, Ryan, you are correct. So what do you say about this?
I'll give you number 10 all day. I'll give you number 10
straight up. You think I'll get it done?
Yeah, I'll give you 10 in Mims. How about that? I think number 10, if you can get Devontae Adams for a first and a second for a massive contract, then I think number 10 should be able to do it plus Denzel Mims.
Would you do like something similar to the Tyreek Hill where it's like 35-38? Just those two?
For DK, yeah, I would do 35-38, and I would do both seconds and a third for DK. I think DK is special enough. And he seems like I don't know any off the field stuff, and the guy's always healthy, and he's a freak. So, 100% I'm in on DK.
I would love DK Metcalf. Oh my God, now that's going to be the next player that I feel like could potentially be on the move, and Jets fans are going to be keep an eye out for, because now we know for sure Joe Douglas is trying his best to bring in a wide receiver. I mean, for him to offer that much for Tyreek Hill kind of blew my mind. It really gave me a different side of Joe Douglas that I did not expect, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise that we didn't get Tyreek Hill, but we know that he is aggressive. Brandon with another donation. I appreciate you as always, Brandon. Highway to the Danger Zone is playing in JD's earbuds while making trade packages. Oh my goodness. Listen, Joe Douglas is really known to be a guy around the league, like not even just Jets fans, but if you go on Twitter, like NFL fans appreciate Joe Douglas and the Jets. Like, wow. Mm-hmm. They're seeing all these trades that's going on, Ryan, and they're seeing Devontae Adams get traded, now Tyreek Hill, these quarterbacks, and we get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for Jamal Adams, and we get a second and a fourth and a sixth for Sam Darnold. I mean, this doesn't even make sense. How is it possible?
Well, it's crazy to think. If you look at the raw, really, we don't know what the picks are going to wind up eventually being for the Watson trade. But right now, the Jets got more value out of Sam and Jamal Adams than the Texans got out of Deshaun Watson on a point basis.
Is that like the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life? I mean, that just doesn't make sense. I mean, how the heck did Joe Douglas get this done? We literally ruined 2 organizations.
I love
the Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers. I mean, you go to Panthers Twitter, they talk about it every single day, and they're not afraid to admit of how upset they are with the trade that they made for Sam Darnold.
Dude, I was talking to the Keep Pounding podcast. They had me on there like, so what do you think about Sam Darnold? I was like, I think you guys are going to want a new quarterback after this year. And they're like, and then they had the beginning part of the season, and then they're like, okay, yeah, we want a new quarterback.
Oh my God. And it's crazy because Sam started off great. You remember? They were 3-0. And then
what do you have, 6 rushing touchdowns or something crazy for a little bit?
All of a sudden, a dual threat. And then we're and Zach was playing like crap. And we're like, we lost the trade. We lost it.
Here come the tweets and the DMs.
Oh man, it's all going south. But then Sam just crumbled. And now they picked up his 5th-year option. They're going to be paying him a lot of money this year to sit on the bench. Really, really crazy stuff. Edward with a $2 dono. Applesauce at 4. Jermaine Johnson at 10. Yep. Jermaine Johnson is a player that I would absolutely love on the New York Jets. What is your thoughts? These are the picks at 4 and 10. What is your reaction, Ryan?
A+ first round. 100%. I'm all about it. That's why I like Sauce at 4, because I think there's a lot of really good edge rushers there at 10, and I love Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, man. That is 2 big-time pieces to the defense. And then, hey, we have the capital where if there's a receiver that's falling like a Traylon Burks, Joe Douglas can trade back up trade up to 19 or 20 or whatever pick it might be, get Treylon Burks or someone else that's sliding. You never know who it is. He loves Chris Olave, Drake London sliding. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But this gives the Jets flexibility, or you stay pat and wait till 35 and get a guy like Dotson or Christian Watson or Pickens or someone. So I feel like that's the vision. I feel like Jets fans, we saw that Tyreek Hill is on the Jets radar, so now we're just assuming that it's going to be receiver number 10 right away, where it's not guaranteed. Like I just said, there's other different ways to do it. So I want to talk about that topic real quick. So Shavansu actually with another $2 donation. Fun fact, Jets double-dipped that cornerback in 2013, D and Dex.
Yeah, Dexter McDougal.
Dexter McDougal, man. He's kind of like better than D. Milner.
Milner couldn't see the field, but yeah, Dex had like a few good games in there, and then like I think he wind up with Seattle at some point, or the Chiefs maybe. Like he bounced from the Jets pretty quickly. Both those guys were short-lived.
Yeah, I mean we did double dip there. We'll see what position we'll double dip. If you can pick one position that the New York Jets double dip this year in the draft, what would it be?
Probably edge. I would want to go edge at 4 or 10, and then a little bit later with someone that they like from the Senior Bowl, just because, like, as much as I love Lawson, the injury does scare me a little bit, and the guaranteed money's up after this year, so in theory, they could move on from him if they want. I don't think they will because I think his contract is so good, but I wouldn't mind double dipping at edge.
Interesting stuff. Grim Empire says, does Darnold look scared when playing? He does, man. I mean, the whole problem with Sam when he was on the Jets even was, the happy feet in the pocket. That's something that you kind of expect from a rookie, but it never really went away. In year number 2, it was still there. In year number 3, it just felt like, you can be physically talented with an arm and athleticism, but when you're playing the quarterback position, you got to be comfortable in the pocket, stepping up into your throws and have a good spatial awareness of the pressure. So what's your thoughts about Sam? Do you think he looks scared when he's playing?
Yeah, I don't blame him either. Look, the Jets' offensive line was one of the worst I've ever seen when Sam got here, and he went to Carolina, and he went to a bad offensive line there. So the dude's just been hampered by terrible offensive lines. And even in USC, like all his offensive linemen were hurt. So like he hasn't had a good offensive line probably since high school. And he was a linebacker in high school.
Yeah, it is true. And now he probably going to be a long-term backup for the rest of his career. Like I feel bad in a way because I poured a lot of hope into that man. And
so did I.
Listen, it's in the past. There's no reason to talk about it at this point, but we got Zach Wilson, baby. Let's hope that he is a player that can elevate people around him. And Joe Douglas is doing a great job of, building around him. I mean, he almost got Tyreek Hill for the man. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff. So let's talk about the draft real quick. The New York Jets have a lot of draft capital, but I have a feeling that before the draft, there might be a trade where the picks are like everywhere. I mean, we just saw today that we're willing to give up 2 first-round picks. So in an ideal world, we briefed on it earlier in the stream. Would you agree that it's wide receiver and then 3 defensive positions with the top 4 picks? And if that is the vision, what are those 3 positions outside the receiver?
So the way I'm kind of looking at it is I would like the top 10 to be Sauce and an edge rusher in some capacity. However you want to do that, 4-10, 10-4, I don't care. But I'd like that. Then 35, I want wide receiver. At 38, I want safety. I think there's a lot of really good safety talent at the top end, back end of the first round, top end of the second round. You can go with probably like 3 or 4 different guys. And I think you play to the strength of the draft. You could see maybe linebacker in the second round too, if they like Chad Muma or something like that. But I do think 3 of the top 4 picks, I would say 5 of the top 4 picks, or 4 of the top 5 picks. Words are hard. 4 of the top 5 picks will probably wind up being defense.
I agree. Shavansu with another $2 dono. Double dip at the end of wide receiver, most impacted today's game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a possibility, my man. Daniel with a generous $10 dono. Appreciate you, Daniel. Honestly think that Joe Douglas would have landed Hill while still keeping our first. He would have gone Hamilton at 4 and Edge at 10, especially since he got Reed in free agency. So what's your thoughts about Daniel's super chat, Ryan?
I don't hate going after Hamilton. It's just I feel like he might be a luxury pick when we don't necessarily have the luxury to do that right now, because I do want Edge at 4. I think that's more important. If Hamilton's there at 10, by all means take him. But I think the edge is more important. And that's why I would pass on Hamilton more than Hamilton himself.
Yeah, I think the only way that the New York Jets make Kyle Hamilton the pick is if he's still there at 10 somehow and he slides.
Mm-hmm.
I just do not see the Jets taking him at number 4, where if he does slide to 10 and we say we went edge at 4 and Sauce is off the table and their favorite receiver like Garrett Wilson's not there, and we heard we heard Robert Saleh say that if a player's a unicorn, then that's the only way where I'll be okay with Kyle Hamilton, to be honest. On the New York Jets, I love him as a player, but I do not want to draft him at number 4 at all. I think that'll be a big time mistake, and I don't really expect it to happen, so I'm not worrying about it. But if they really take a flyer on him at 10, and then they trade back up into the first round to grab Drake London or something like that, and we come out with the first round with, say, Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, and a first-round receiver, can you imagine that?
I love it. I'm a big fan of getting back into the first, since we have 2 picks very close to the top end of the second.
And we saw Joe Douglas do it last year. I mean, he didn't get back into the first, but he moved up 9 spots. So we've seen our new GM. I mean, I can't even say new GM. He's been their GM for 3 years now. We've seen him move down in the draft and move up in the draft. So we know that he's not afraid to sacrifice draft capital to get a guy that he loves. So do not be surprised if Joe Douglas wants to move up, because we have so much capital to make it happen, where it'll be so worth it, giving up 35 and 38, and maybe if you have to give up a pick next year or one of our 5th round picks or something like that to move back into the first round for a player that's sliding, sign me up. Give me 3 first-round picks that have 5th-year options. Haha. Am I right? Daniel, appreciate the $10 donation, my man. Jared with the donation from the Super Chat. He says, would Sauce at 4 be a luxury pick after signing Reed and having Hall and Eccles, especially having bigger holes and question marks at edge, safety, wide receiver, and offensive line? So this is a very interesting question, Jared, because I love Sauce Gardner. I also love Bryce Hall. Now, Sauce Gardner is way more talented than Bryce Hall. You do not need to tell me that in the chat, guys. I am aware of that. But I also feel like Bryce Hall has legit cornerback starting potential, where I would love for him to be the guy next to DJ Reed. But then it's all about, do you want to upgrade that position? Because if we do get Sauce, then all of a sudden, that is the deepest and probably the best position group on the team in terms of youth and potential. Because you add Sauce Gardner, we have Sauce and DJ Reed as our 2 starters. We have Bryce Hall as a CB number 3. We have Brennan Eccles right behind him, providing depth. And we have Michael Carter II starting in the slot. That is a crazy young cornerback room that I would not be upset about. So what's your thoughts about taking Sauce at 4 and it potentially being a luxury pick, since we already signed DJ Reed and we have a guy in Bryce Hall who's coming off a really good season last year, and even Brennan Eccles as well?
So it depends how much truth you want to put into DJ Bieniemy's thoughts that the teams were throwing at Bryce Hall because he couldn't make a play on the ball and they weren't afraid of him intercepting a ball. If that's the case, then I think the Jets are definitely in need of a cornerback. And I think that Reed could be competition to Hall, not necessarily like Reed should be starting. But I think when Reed's contract is up, or at least after his 2 years of guaranteed money is up, then I think you can make a decision between re-signing Reed, or has Hall progressed enough to re-sign him. And I don't think Sauce plays into that at all. I think him being on a 5-year contract easily outlives both these players.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it, because, it's a good problem to have. And if we do get Sauce, then we have a really deep position group that would be really exciting to watch for the next, 2 to 3, even 4 seasons. Sauce Gardner is a guy that I would absolutely love to be a New York Jet. And I do not think he'll be a Jet if we don't take him at 4, because I feel like he's going to go before 10. And that's just me being realistic. Would you agree?
I think if he gets past 2, I think he might be the pick at 4. I think there's a real shot that the Lions go corner if they don't go Willis. And that's kind of weird because they have Akuda, but having Aaron Glenn, I think he wants to get his Marshawn Lattimore. But you could also say maybe he wants to get his Marcus Williams, emulate that Saints defense up in Detroit. I'm torn on Sauce. I think if the Ridley thing didn't happen, and if the Broncos didn't trade with the Seahawks, then I would have said Sauce probably doesn't make it to the Jets. But I think there's a real shot that the Giants are going edge rusher and going offensive lineman. I think the Panthers are either going offensive lineman or quarterback. I think the Falcons are going receiver, and I think the Seahawks are probably going to go edge rusher. So I think he's going to fall to us. I'm not sure.
Interesting stuff, man. King Jamie, my guy who's a Chiefs fan. Look who it is. I like the moves the Jets are making. Hi, Richie. Yeah. Interesting stuff indeed, Jamie. We almost got your guy. But, Jamie, I appreciate you tuning in as always. The $2 dono means a lot. Appreciate you. Wild Billy Boy with the $20 donation. Everyone give Wild Billy Boy some dono hype in the chat. Appreciate you, my man. For the 38% of the chat that did not want to trade or pay Tyreek Hill, what could possibly be a better option? That was a perfect trade, and the Jets could afford that contract. You draft players and hope they turn into Hill. Wild Billy Boy's coming out, talking some smack out here. I appreciate the $20 donation, my man. It goes a long way in the channel. Really do mean a lot. And I happen to agree with you, man. I really felt like Tyreek Hill would have been a player that would have took this New York Jets offense to another level immediately. Now, I always compared it to the Buffalo Bills with Stephon Diggs. What they did is they got an elite wide receiver for a first-round pick, and that took Josh Allen's game to another level. That was in year 3 of Josh Allen. We're in year 2 of Zach Wilson, so we're kind of skipping a year. And the good thing about this is it's not like the Jets fumbled the situation where they tried their best and Joe Douglas lowballed and we're like, all right, we tried, but we didn't try it hard enough. Like, the Jets did everything they could possibly do to get Tyreek Hill. It just came down to Tyreek Hill's preference to be in Miami and South Beach. So I agree with you, Wild Billy Boy. But at the same time, I do understand the other side of the coin where, this Jets team might not be ready to pay a guy that caliber. And they might be ready to bring in a guy that's going to be, has an off-the-field issue, has culture issues. So what's your thoughts with Wild Billy Boy's Super Chat, Ryan? Because I know that you will have an interesting take on this.
Yeah, look, the Jets need a good wide receiver, and Tyreek Hill is that for sure. I think there's some things, personally that I prefer. I don't want a guy that, punched his pregnant wife. I just I'm sorry, he choked her out. I don't want him as a player. But look, giving up the picks alone, if you're giving up both high second-round picks and a third-round pick, you're getting a proven commodity, which I can understand that. But you're giving up 2 players that are going to be first-round caliber players on 4-year cheap contracts at the top end of the second round. So I understand the gamble for sure. And I think there's, a ton of merit in wanting a really good player and trading for a really good player. And I'm not opposed to trading for one. I wanted Ridley. I wanted Cooper. I wanted Woods. I'm all for DK Metcalf. So I'm good with going out and trading for one. But I think there's plenty of options without paying Tyreek Hill 4 years, $120 million fully guaranteed. Yeah,
it really comes down to the Jets being willing to trade that much draft capital and paying him goes a long way. And I said it over and over again on the stream already, guys. It really shows you how much the New York Jets and Joe Douglas value another wide receiver alongside Elijah Moore and Corey Davis and Braxton Berrios for a young quarterback in Zach Wilson. Wild Billy Boy, this donation means a lot to the channel. I appreciate you a lot, my man. Really does mean a lot. Turkleton with a $5 dono. I think eventually we hear rumblings of 2 to 3 quarterbacks going in the top 10. Every year after pro days, quarterbacks shoot up the board because still see sauce at 10. Yeah, we saw Malik Willis have some fun at his pro day, channeling his inner Zach Wilson. Haha, what are you trying to do there? Malik Willis trying to one-up our guy? No, but in all seriousness, you never know what's going to happen. All these quarterback-needy teams are going to try to trade up. Ryan said don't be shocked about the Steelers moving up for Malik Willis. The Seahawks are going to be looking for a quarterback. You never know if the Panthers were going to try to move up or just draft one at 6. You never know if the Lions are going to take one at number 2. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things leading up into the draft. And even though we're not looking for a quarterback, we should definitely look out for the quarterback position in the NFL draft because it really impacts what happens with the Jets, especially at pick number 10. So what's your thoughts about the Super Chat, Ryan?
Yeah, I think we see at least 2 in the top 10. I think it's going to be, if you've seen the quarterbacks and how everything has kind of gone just in free agency and the trademark and everything, it's tough to get a quarterback. So if you're in a position in a top 10 pick to take a guy, take the guy. But you got to like him too, because you're kind of locked in with this for the next few years. So I do think Willis goes 2. I think Pickett goes 6. And then I think there's a conversation to be had at number 8 and 9. I don't know who the quarterback is. I like Ritter personally, but not that high. I don't know. I'm not sure who the third guy would be.
Yeah, this quarterback class is very, very interesting. And I'm excited to see how it all shakes out. So we got the last super chat of the night from Tony. $5 dono from Tony. Appreciate you, my man. We need to double dip wide receiver at 10 and 35. Hopefully one of them will be good. So this is an interesting take, right? Ryan, we're talking about should the Jets go out there and double dip at receiver. Tony's saying, let's double dip at 10 and 35. Let's get Treylon Burks and Christian Watson. Let's get Garrett Wilson and Pickens. I mean, what are your thoughts about this potential?
I can understand it. And if the Jets go this way, I don't hate it. It's not, I would hope that Joe Douglas has enough drafting acumen to find the talent where he doesn't have to double dip like that. But if you think that, a good first round is a 50% hit rate, then I understand him going for 2 wide receivers. So that way you hopefully hit on one of those picks.
Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy. Can you imagine the Jets are like, screw it. You know what, Tyreek Hill? You don't want to come to us? We're literally going to load up and become the deepest and the craziest upcoming wide receiver room in NFL history by taking one at 10 and 35, adding it to Elijah Moore and the Honey Nut Berrios. So, guys, that's going to wrap it up.
We're going to get a curveball. It's going to be Hamilton and Sauce at 10, and then we're going to blanket Tyreek and Diggs. And they won't be able to get any yards.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, that's going to wrap up tonight's live stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. We got 205 likes. Let's get this to 250 right before the stream is ended. So, if you guys enjoyed this, you want to see Ryan back on the channel in the next couple of weeks heading into the NFL draft, let me know in the chat. And, of course, smash that thumbs up button so we know that you enjoyed Ryan as a special guest. And, of course, I'm assuming you are already. Do not forget to subscribe to my guy, Ryan. Down below in the description, doing great things. How can we end the stream without a Shavansu? Another super chat. I appreciate you as always, Shavansu. Go McKagan and double dip in the first 2 rounds. So should we take a safety and a safety? I think that's what he's referring to.
Oh, yeah, 100% in. Let's push all the chips. We need a strong safety. We need a free safety. Why not?
Jamal Adams, Marcus May, all over again. I love it. All right, guys. We appreciate it. Ryan, anything you'd like to say before we end off the stream?
Yeah, absolutely. Richie, I love coming on here. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, guys, I'll actually be live in like 10 minutes. I'm going to do a little hour-long stream, give you my thoughts over there as well. If you want to bounce over there.
Yeah, man. Ryan will be live talking about his take of the whole Tyreek Hill situation and everything regarding the New York Jets. So make sure you guys go down below, click the link. That's his channel. And you'll see his link ready to go for a stream. So you got Richie and Ryan for an hour, and then you got Ryan for an hour. How about that? Guys, enjoy your night. And let's go Jets. And I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Peace out, everybody. Ryan's a GOAT. Yes, sir, Mike.